possible override of Governor Rauner's veto of a gun dealer licensing bill. He said it's too burdensome, and the NRA's John Weber agreed.
We're concerned mostly that this bill is unfair in terms of it exempting big box stores. We're concerned that it's unenforceable. We're also concerned that it is redundant in terms of the fact that these regulations are already being enforced by the federal government.
But people who have lost loved ones to gun violence say more must be done to prevent firearms from getting into the hands of criminals. Chicago's top cop, Betty Johnson, is rejecting a recommendation by the city's police oversight board to fire the officer who shot and killed Quintonio LeGrier and Betty Jones in 2015. COPA had recommended firing Officer Robert Rialmo, but Johnson said the shooting was justified. The two sides will now work on a compromise. Willie Wilson, running for mayor of Chicago again, the businessman and philanthropist, announced at Chicago State University that he will challenge Mayor Emanuel in 2019.
Emanuel will be defeated this time.
Wilson previously ran for mayor in 2015 and finished third. The mother of two children who died in a Gary fire over the weekend is facing charges in their deaths. Authorities say Kristen Gober left her three young children home Saturday night alone. The fire started in the apartment the next day, killing two of the siblings. In sports, in the NBA, it was Rockets over the Bulls, 118-86. Major League Baseball, Red Sox over the Cubs, 4-2. But Cubs open the season at Miami tomorrow afternoon. The White Sox open the season in Kansas City tomorrow evening. The news and service of La Quinta Inn and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. AM 560 News Time 5:04. A check of traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money because it isn't customized to you. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you with a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. For a limited time, get $50 off your mattress order when you go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
Jimmy John's Freaky Fast, Freaky Fresh.
I'm calling because I saw one of your delivery persons today, and he was totally naked.
Ma'am, I sincerely want to apologize for any...
Buck naked right there on the street.
Ma'am, we're doing all we can to...
And I say it's about darn time.
I know, and I'm gonna... Wait, what?
The human body is a beautiful thing, don't you agree?
Well,
We've suffered the tyranny of clothing for way too long.
Okay, but...
So thanks, Jimmy John's, for going all natural.
Actually, ma'am, it's our meats that are all natural.
Say what now?
Our meats are all natural. Wood smoked ham, choice roast beef, real fresh turkey breast, all natural and freaky fresh.
So I don't suppose I can expect all natural delivery in the future?
No.
Darn.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features 2 events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
At 5:07 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, let's say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, David. Well, the commute is fairly quiet right now through most of the Chicago area. There is a crash on the near west side, Carpenter and Chicago Avenue. There is some road work on I-65 southbound, US 30. The left lane is closed till 7 this morning. And there's some work farther south in the right lane, 205th Avenue, the Kankakee River Bridge. Kenosha, there are ramp closures, 94 at Highway E. This is affecting eastbound or southbound 94 in that area. Detours are posted. Traffic. Service Firestone Complete Auto Care. Head into Firestone Complete Auto Care through April 2nd and get $60 on a Visa prepaid card by mail. You purchase a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Restrictions and exclusions apply. Visit driveafirestone.com. And Traffic also is a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at LQ.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, but now the forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Patchy fog for the morning with partial sunshine throughout the day today with a high 57. Then for tonight becoming mostly cloudy, a little rain developing late at night with a low 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
39 at the lakefront, 42 at Midway, 41 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 5:30. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is Scott Bertram. He's the general manager at WRFH, Radio Free Hillsdale, Hillsdale College in Hillsdale, Michigan, where we are broadcasting this morning. And, Scott, it's been a fun 2 days here, and I don't want to leave.
Well, we can make some arrangements, I suppose.
I mean, I can sweep up. I mean, I don't have a lot of skills, mostly soft skills.
Yeah.
Mostly pontificating, and so I don't know how that fits into the milieu here. But
I know we're looking for like a digital video expert,
No.
maybe? No. Front desk at the Dow Hotel is hiring.
I really don't have the bedside manner to interact in a retail setting. So let's keep noodling on it this morning.
Yeah.
We got 4 hours.
We'll check it out. We can find something.
Scott Bertram is no stranger to the airwaves. In addition to being general manager here, he was a morning drive guy at WROK in Rockford. Also a Bennett grad, and we were engaging some Bennett scholars yesterday to decide where in the pantheon of Bennett grads you fall. You've got your Frank the Tank Kaminsky.
I think a clear number one at this point.
You've got your Porter Mosier.
Yeah. Yep. 2 with a bullet.
And then this is where it gets complicated. Diablo Cody, the screenwriter who wrote Juno.
Yeah.
Scott Bertram.
You.
Well, no.
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan,
former AG.
On the pantheon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mark DiCarlo, who used to host Studs, the syndicated show about finding love in a complicated world.
I don't know that we necessarily want to broadcast that. I don't know what that does to burnish Bennett's reputation, but okay.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, certainly it's arguable, debatable, but I think, it's a top 3, top 4 kind of situation.
For you.
For both of us.
Well,
I want to appear humble.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's
be humble. I just want to appear humble.
Passive-aggressively humble.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Well, let's get to some of the topics du jour. And we start with this one. Citizenship, the citizenship question on the U.S. Census. Is that a scare tactic, or is it just simply fraud prevention? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Scott, I mean, not to pry into your personal life, but
yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
I am a U.S. citizen, though if I were to register to vote, I would not have to prove it. Just check a box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so your reaction to Xavier Becerra, who is the Attorney General for the great state of California, who, upon announcement that the Commerce Department would be including that question on the census forms for the 2020 census, immediately moved to sue the federal government, sue the Trump administration to enjoin that question from being placed on the 2020 census. 12 other states are following suit. You can be sure that Illinois with Lisa Madigan will be one of them. Bruce Rauner still contemplating what his position is on that issue in classic Ronner fashion. This is, it's funny how much he mirrors Mark Kirk. I'm going to do a bunch of bad things, and then when I run for re-election, I'm going to pretend I have no opinions on anything and see if I can fool people. It's not going to work, but it's an interesting tactic. So Becerra explaining why this is improper.
In our lawsuit, we argue that this decision by the Trump administration violates the Constitution and federal law. First, the Constitution requires, as I said before, the actual enumeration of all people in every state every 10 years. By including a citizenship question, which will diminish response rates, the census will not be able to fulfill its constitutional duty to count everyone. Second, the Trump administration has violated the Administrative Procedure Act, the APA, which prohibits arbitrary and capricious agency actions. We look forward to making our case in court against the Trump administration. We're not going to stop, and we're going to defend every one of our rights to make sure that every one of our people who's worked hard to make California the 6th largest economy in the state is counted.
It's a real devastating interpretation of the old APA, Scott, that Attorney General Becerra has. But here's the thing. The citizenship question has been on the census for, not recently, but was for a long time.
Right.
All the way up until 2000, it was on the long-form version of the census. So that's the Clinton administration census. Now that only went to about 15% of the population, but the percentage really doesn't matter. It's the precedent. So I'm not so sure why this is violative of the Constitution or the APA, or why this is should be just kind of marginalized as some sort of scare tactic.
Xavier Becerra, by the way, is going to be in the news quite a bit. He's a headline-seeking kind of guy.
Yeah.
Former congressman and now AG, of course, and looking for bigger things.
Future governor.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
One of the things that comes out of the census, of course, is congressional districts, and states can gain or lose seats based on census figures. And so one of the questions that must be considered, should congressional seats be based on people who are non-citizens? And if non-citizens are registering through the census, and that affects the way, if California is going to lose a congressional seat because people who are non-citizens are not being counted in the census, is that right or wrong?
Well, right. So that's the fraud prevention argument, both in terms of the number of congressmen as well as federal funding.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Federal funding is often based on population, the distribution of federal funds. So if there are people who are in this country illegally and thus ineligible for federal benefits, then why should a state get federal benefits based on the people who are not eligible for them by the law? I'm not a rhetorician by training, but that seems to be fairly straightforward logically. And the same thing with congressional districts, the number of congressmen. If you're predicating the number of congressmen you're distributed, and in some respects your political power, based on a fraudulent statistic, then you're doing so at the expense of states that have less fraud built into their numbers.
And I don't know if the census, I'm sure the census doesn't get into this, but if you are a non-citizen, is there perhaps not a greater likelihood that you'll be moving around, either back to where you are from originally, to a different state? Are you being counted in the state where you'll actually be in a year or 2 years? Do you have a permanent residence? Questions like that.
Spalding, who is the Democrat nominee for governor in Illinois, he tweeted, "This is a direct attack on immigrant communities by the Trump administration, and it can only..."
To ask them to answer a question.
It's a direct attack.
Direct attack.
Yeah. And it can only worsen the response rate of immigrant residents in Illinois. Immigrant residents. This is what the left does too. Blurs the line between immigrant families and immigrants and persons here who are illegal immigrants. That descriptor, illegal, turns out to be very important.
Quite important.
It's a real distinguishing factor. And I don't understand why, if I'm a legal immigrant, I'm a Mexican-American who emigrated to this country, I'm I'm going to be afraid and I'm not going to fill out the census now because somebody here illegally won't fill out the census.
Right.
So the scare tactic argument seems to me to be a scare tactic.
Right, that you won't, that people here legally who are citizens will decide not to return the census or answer the question because why? Because others who are here who are non-citizens, they feel
that the government will use this information to target them.
To target them. But for what? Because they should have no issues.
I guess they're afraid. Look, the mayor of Oakland can only run interference between illegal immigrants and law enforcement in so many places at so many times. I mean, it's just a remarkable argument that they're making, and the indignancy with which the left attacks the rule of law in defense of the non-rule of law. It's just remarkable to me, and this hysteria over the citizenship question provides a prime example of it. Oh, by the way, even in California, where Xavier Becerra has high hopes, as you were mentioning, there's a revolt underway against the sanctuary state and city designations. You have communities, Los Alamitos already repealed their sanctuary city designation and essentially responding to Jerry Brown's defiance of federal immigration law by defying the state's sanctuary state status. If you can, there's two levels of defiance going on. But you have you now have Orange County essentially publicizing the release dates of inmates, so that the state can't intervene to prevent ICE from picking up people in this country illegally who should be deported. Because they're criminals in addition to being here illegally. They're predators, and so everybody says that violent criminals who are not in this country legally should be deported, and then you see elected officials in California running interference for those same people.
Right. Oakland's mayor, as you mentioned, previously doing it. It makes no sense whatsoever.
And the interesting thing, though, is that the revolt is happening in California. So as much as, it's one of those things where it's an overreach. It's like what Ross Douthat has said about the left. The country may be moving left, but the Democrats are moving left much faster.
Right.
They're outrunning their coverage. And it seems to me this is another case where the left is outrunning its coverage hopefully to their detriment.
People generally understand fairness and live their own lives by the law, by the letter of the law. They want to be in compliance. And if they see others who are cheating the system now in multiple ways, right? They're here illegally to begin with. They should be technically deported, but no, California is carving out these sanctuary state type laws. I think there's as you say, that the party, its leaders specifically now, moving so far and so fast to the left that they're out kicking their coverage. Will the people follow them that far, or realize that, man, we have to have a little more law and order, perhaps?
Well, I mean,
in the States.
Look, I play by the rules. I play by the rules. I live my life by the rules, and then I'm the bad guy.
Right.
I mean, it's a little bit of kind of like a scene from Falling Down. Wait, how did I become the bad guy? Hopefully they stay out of the whammy burger. Dan and Scott Bertram sitting in for Amy, coming to you live from Hillsdale College this morning.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, a little check of the weather. Mostly cloudy with a high near 47 today. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 39. Thursday, 50% chance of rain, cloudy with a high near 44, and cloudy overnight with a low of 32. A lot of cloudy. Now we check the roads with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Dan. Good morning. Metra has delays on the Union Pacific North line due to signal problems. The train due downtown in about 2 minutes. Stopped right now due to signal problems. Expressway is pretty light. Inbound Ryan, a little heavy now coming into downtown Chicago. You've got about a 1 minute delay from 18th into the Burns Circle. Outbound, it's clear. No road work. Edens, Kennedy, Eisenhower, and the Stevens, delay free. Same goes for I-57. Bishop Ford, still pretty light, too. Tollways are looking good. There's road work southbound, Stern School Road to 137 in the right lane. There's road work on southbound I-65 at US 30 in the left lane. I'm Jim Telemonte. in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
You want to go to Italy, but not on a pre-packaged tour. You want something more real. You want to do what you love in Italy, to gather with friends, your beloved family, a big table, in your own private villa in Tuscany. It's easier than you think. DoWhatYouLoveInItaly.com is a small company with 8 villas to choose from, all in the most beautiful and culturally interesting countryside of Tuscany. For the cost of a hotel, you can rent a private, centuries-old villa with pool, gardens, and classic Tuscan views. Grandparents, kids, and grandchildren, groups of friends, your family, together in one of our gorgeous Italian villas in the heart of Tuscany. They are called Do What You Love in Italy because they help you to do what you love in Italy. See the 8 villas waiting for you at DoWhatYouLoveInItaly.com. Do what you love in Italy.com.
Why do we call it small business? Why not agile business, nimble business, dance circles around the big bulky behemoths business? Ooma Office, the small business phone solution, has a virtual receptionist to direct calls to the right extension and a mobile app to help you answer while away from the office. About all that's small really is the price, starting at only $19.95 a month. Visit Ooma.com, that's OOMA, or call 866-649-9377 to find out more. Ooma, the phone your small business deserves.
Spearphishing has or will strike your business, wreaking havoc on your employees, brand, and your bottom line. Spearphishing can't be stopped by traditional email security solutions because messages appear to be legitimate from your boss, a trusted colleague, or a vendor asking you to wire money, confirm login credentials, or worse. Barracuda Sentinel is artificial intelligence for real-time spearphishing and cyber fraud defense. Reclaim your email in minutes with zero impact on network performance. Visit barracuda.com/AI.
Hi, I'm Jim Vanham with Strategic Financial Group. With the new tax law, charitable gifting will be more complicated than ever before. We're your experts in charitable gifting, and we can help you stretch your donations to worthy causes like Giant Steps. Now, with more, here's my friend Dr. Sylvia Smith.
Thanks, Jim. Giant Steps takes pride in providing a holistic and innovative approach to programming for individuals with autism. As students turn 22, government support stops and the options for programs become limited. This is why our Canopy Adult Day program needs your support to continue our mission of preparing adults with autism for a fulfilled and productive life. To donate, visit mygiantsteps.org. Again, that's mygiantsteps.org.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, for creating such a nurturing environment for young adults with autism. To find out how to stretch your contributions, please go to stgfin.com. That's stgfin.com.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Dan and in for Amy this morning, Scott Bertram, General Manager of WRFH Radio Free Hillsdale, where we are broadcasting from the Halcyon Enclave, that is Hillsdale College up in Hillsdale, right. Michigan.
You know, we don't have a name for this particular studio. But I think, there's probably a dollar amount.
Sure.
that, if anyone were interested, that might get your name on this studio. So anyone broadcasting here would be broadcasting from the blank studio,
It's interesting.
Just throwing it out there.
Interesting proposition you present. I know it's good because we were talking about that last night. I noticed the oil painting of Pat Sajak and his wife here.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some of the Hillsdale propaganda. And, your about all your donors and the different clubs at the different donor levels. And it's great because this is all privately financed, no government money here. This is one of the things that makes Hillsdale unique. And I said, what is the threshold level of donation to get the oil painting in a hall? Because that's what I really want. I want the oil painting, me, I don't know, something tasteful, lying down in a bearskin rug in front of a roaring fire, something.
A la Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
Cosmopolitan. Yes.
Something that, people will remember me as the witty and urbane sophisticate that I am.
I think that's probably like off-menu price. You go to the restaurant, you have to ask for something special.
Yeah.
It's not on the menu. I think that's the oil painting price.
That's Wheel of Fortune money, is what you're saying. And, and you're not talking to Vanna White over here. I got it. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. But I got three things to say. One, that AG or district attorney in California, he's not talking to Bennett grads or anyone close to that. He's talking to the humanoids out there he's giving them hope that they could live here forever without any repercussions, even if they're here illegally or not. And two, California is going through more than just sanctuary cities. Half the state wants to even split from the state. In other words, form two states. The only areas that are super liberal and disgusting to what our values are here is the coastal areas. And three, thanks for bringing this guy in. It's nice to hear intelligent conversation in the morning instead of the silly stuff. So keep it up. And, California is going through a very interesting time. Goodbye.
Thanks for the call, Ed. Appreciate that. And, Scott, thank you for being here.
I appreciate the offer.
To help elevate us from the idiocy, apparently, that we are normally promoting.
Clearly this is also an election, a voting kind of strategy, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to split. What Democrats realized in 2016 is, despite all their talk about how demographics are against Republicans and they can never win again in the future because Latinos are the future and they'll vote 95% Democratic, and all, it's not true. And it's certainly not moving as quickly as they want or expect it to. So the more wedges they can drive between Latinos and other voters in the country, and the more they can nail down their votes by saying they're asking you questions, they're going to come after you, they're looking for you. That's why there's questions on the census. Well, they're going to do it every single time.
Well, sure. This is the projection, right? You're using scare tactics. What I'm really trying to do is cover the scare tactics I'm using. Because here's the argument of the left, and this is nicely memorialized by Rusty Reno of First Things. Solidarity and marginality. Solidarity and marginality. They hate you. They're coming for you. You're a marginalized population. I'm your grand protector, part of the vanguard left that's going to, give you everything you need and protect you from all of the imaginary enemies I say you have. Solidarity and marginality. That's the entire raison d'etre and strategy of the left.
And that's also what we've seen from J.B. Pritzker so far. Every time he has the opportunity, he's tearing down Trump, though Trump is more popular than our current governor.
When he's not eating fudge.
Right. But, Trump is terrible. He's a misogynist. He's going to come get you. He's going to put you down. I'm the guy that's going to stand in his way. That's why you need me in Springfield. Same thing.
He is Scott Bertram. I am Dan Proft. We are broadcasting live from Hillsdale College, and now we turn it over to Carnegie Mellon's, one of Carnegie Mellon's most impressive grads. They're certainly in the pantheon of Carnegie Mellon's best.
Me and Bruce White's.
I was going to say Bruce White's.
It's written down right here.
It's remarkable.
Yep.
Charles Hayde.
Who? Charles Hayde?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, the great Charles Hayde. Scott, you remember
Hill Street
him.
Blues guys.
Ah, yes.
What character was he?
There was Bruce White's was the crazy guy with the black mustache and the curly black hair, and Charles Hayde was the Southern speaking guy who was partnered with the son of the ex basketball player.
Oh, Hill, right?
Yeah, Bobby Hill's partner.
I'll tell you what, Dave Stewart. Get back to me when you got a Daniel J. Travanti. All right, we'll give you the headlines now.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Scott. It's 42 degrees in Chicago, 532 on AM 560. The Answer. Partly sunny today, high at 57. China is confirming that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un did, in fact, this week visit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. MSNBC terrorism analyst Malcolm Nance has more on the significance of that.
We are seeing not a Nixon goes to China moment, but by getting Kim Jong-un to come to Beijing, Beijing now controls the entire destiny of the Korean Peninsula. It is no longer in the hands of Washington.
During the meeting, Kim expressed his willingness to hold talks with the U.S. and his commitment to denuclearization. The White House is not refuting a report that President Trump wants to pay for his border wall with the military budget. Washington Post says Trump is selling it to lawmakers as a national security issue. California is suing the Trump administration for including a question about citizenship on the 2020 census. California's Attorney General Xavier Becerra said that asking about citizenship doesn't only threaten immigrants, but everyone in the state. Willie Wilson running for mayor of Chicago again. The businessman and philanthropist announced yesterday at Chicago State University he will challenge Mayor Emanuel in 2019. 2 people have been wounded after a shooting in front of a business in the Little Village neighborhood. A man and a woman shot last night in the 3600 block of West Cermak Road. Gun violence down this year in Chicago. Police say the city has seen 25% fewer shootings than at this time last year. As of this month, gun violence in Chicago has dropped for 13 consecutive months. In sports, in the NBA, the Rockets over the Bulls 118-86. In Major League Baseball, Red Sox over the Cubs 4-2. But the Cubs open the season in Miami against the Marlins tomorrow afternoon. The White Sox open the season in KC tomorrow evening. The news, a service of La Quinta Inns and Suites. How do business travelers win on the road? By staying at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Relax with contemporary lobby makeovers and stylish room designs. Prepare to win at business. Book now at lq.com. AM 560 News Time, 5:34. A check of traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher explains why Trump's approval rating is going up.
Phony, plastic, fake politicians just read scripts. They're not real. They're not authentic. This is what is so appealing to so many people about President Trump. His authentic delivery, his authentic self.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Taste the difference of skilled gaucho chefs at Fogo de Chão Brazilian Steakhouse, where every cut is expertly prepared. Reserved today in Chicago, Rosemont, and Naperville at fogo.com.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McKetty. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
Ready to sell your real estate? Call me, Mike McKetty, at Century 21 Affiliated. With over $1 billion in closed sales since 1999, I have a proven marketing plan that works. Clients like my straightforward, no-nonsense approach in positioning properties to sell. I offer accurate evaluations, saving you time, money, and unnecessary stress. Together, with my skilled team of associates and over 25 local Chicagoland offices, we help guide you through the process and get you sold. Call today, 708-945-2121. I look forward to earning your business and selling your home.
Selling your home, get ready with Mike McKetty. 708-945-2121. 708-945-2121.
At 5:35 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. We have an update on a Metro delay on the Union Pacific North Line. Train 300, which was due downtown at 5:23, remains stopped. Turns out it's not signal problems. Police activity in the area around Central Street. Keep an eye on that Union Pacific North Line. On the expressways, the Edens is clear. Kennedy still fine. Reversibles are open inbound. Inbound Eisenhower slowed 25th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue and Ashland to the Burns Circle. 32 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound fine at 29. Mount Stevenson, 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Inbound Bishop Ford, 5-minute delay around Stony Island feeder to the merge. Tollways are good, Northwest Indiana as well. Traffic, service of Firestone Complete Auto Care. Head into Firestone Complete Auto Care through April 2nd and get $60 on a Visa prepaid card by mail. Purchase a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Whenever you drive a Firestone. Restrictions and exclusions apply. Visit driveafirestone.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast. Partly sunny, pleasant today, and a high of 57. Cloudy, a little rain late tonight, low of 42. Cloudy and cooler tomorrow, some rain in the early afternoon. Tomorrow's high 48. Right now, 41 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 6 o'clock. That's continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. If you're in this country illegally, you need to go. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Scott Bertram, the general manager of WRFH, Radio Free Hillsdale in Hillsdale, Michigan, where we are broadcasting live this morning, Hillsdale College. My 2-day sojourn for some intellectual recharging and just a couple of housekeeping items in terms of the naming rights for the studio, Scott, since you've opened the door.
Yes.
Steve on 88 texting in that it would only be proper for the studio to be named after the one celebrity in Michigan that matters, Kate Upton.
Now, there's an idea.
Yeah, that makes some sense to me.
Between her money and Justin Verlander's money, I think the fancial resources are there. And, yeah, she's born in St. Joseph, I think, Kate Upton was. And she'd be likely, I know we had Justice Clarence Thomas as our commencement speaker 2 years ago. That was very popular. We filled the sports complex. But I think a Kate Upton, if it's a package deal, naming rights and perhaps a commencement speakership, that would be a very popular event.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
Yeah.
Because she's the niece of former Congressman Fred Upton, right?
Correct.
That's the reason she would be popular.
Yes. I mean, it's the
connection
political
to the
connection. Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, it's nice
You
access.
can use her to get to Fred Upton. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she's got to get sick of that, people using her to get to Fred Upton. Also, the curious case of how many members of Hill Street Blues went to Carnegie Mellon. I got to figure that out. The Belker character, and then Renko, Carnegie Mellon grads. Something
kind of racket.
Something weird is going on at Carnegie Mellon. I wonder if they have a Belker Hall there. We'll have to ask Dave Stewart when we check back with him for the news. All right, one of the things that you're a part of, Scott, and this is something, again, that's interesting and sort of unique to Hillsdale College, you have a journalism program, but not a journalism major.
Not a journalism. No, you can't. You must major in something of more consequence, is really how we put it.
Oh, boy. Now you've done it.
I know. I majored in broadcast communication and political science in college, double major, and everyone says, oh, what can you do with those things? And I say that nothing. This, you can do this. That's about it. So our grads, our students, history, politics, you can major in any of those. Well, there's more, of course. But you have to major in something that has a little more substance than just journalism, because our philosophy here as well is that you're not learning journalism by being in the classroom. Making you take 12 journalism classes over the course of 4 years isn't going to make you a better journalist. You're a better journalist by actually doing it. So, the Collegian, the newspaper here on campus, is a fantastic newspaper. It's been judged top 10 in the country. Just saying.
Sure.
And it's entirely student run. They do a great job covering campus news and city news, op-eds. It's a really great paper. And then now we have the radio station as well. So what we prefer is spending less time in the classroom for journalism students and more time actually practicing journalism. That's the way you learn. So major in something that's going to give you a much better base of knowledge for either your journalism career or for your career outside journalism, and minor in it.
Wait, let me see if I can wrap my mind around this. So what you're suggesting is that if you want to go into journalism,
yes,
you should know something.
Yes.
That is bizarre.
And
that's a real counterintuitive approach. So you should have some kind of background in history or some hard knowledge of particularly topics you may cover as a journalist.
You might want to know historical events in the past or things you can compare, what's happening now to what's happened in the past. It might be a good idea.
You're covering state government or the federal government. You may want to have a foundation in economics.
Yes, my goodness. wish someone had given me this
Strange.
advice when I was in college. I could do it all over again, which I can't. I would have majored in probably history, and maybe the double in political science. One of my biggest regrets is not taking an economics course in college or high school. There was an economics course in high school, and of course there were many. I didn't take it. I badly wish I would have taken an economics course. Here's the good news. At Hillsdale, we have an amazing economics department. Dr. Gary Wolfram, who's actually kind of pretty media savvy. You know, he does interviews and writes at Real Clear Politics and elsewhere. Dr. Pongrasic actually grew up with Russell Kirk in Michigan.
Wow.
Born in Yugoslavia, came to the U.S., I believe he said at the age of 14, and his dad and his family lived with Russell Kirk in Michigan, and he grew up with Russell Kirk. He's one of our economics professors on campus. So,
and you got the von Mises collection.
That's right.
I saw yesterday at the library. That's going to be just across the hall from the forthcoming Dan Proft collection. That'll be in the Heritage Room there.
That's right. Yes, yes. So I'm learning a little through osmosis, and then literally a little from picking the brains of. I wish I would have done that. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I hate to Bigfoot you here when it comes to journalism, but I do have the head of the school newspaper at Parkland High School.
Oh, you do?
Rebecca Schneid.
Yes.
You're familiar with her work,
I
obviously.
am, yes.
And she was on with that insufferable egghead on CNN, that Brian Stelter. He's one of those guys you just want to reach through the screen and choke. Listen to what she said, though. It's sort of an excited utterance, and I appreciate the kids because they tell you the truth in the way that Brian Stelter and the rest of the D.C. press corps won't. Listen to her talk about journalism.
Rebecca, I wonder what yesterday felt like for you, because I see a lot of Parkland students becoming activists, but you all were there as journalists. Do you see a difference right now between journalism and activism and what you're doing?
I think that, for me, the purpose of journalism is to raise, the voices of people that maybe don't have a voice. And so I think that in its own right, journalism is a form of activism.
Journalism is activism, right? It's nice for her to say this is about giving people a voice who don't have a voice. This is sort of like in Silicon Valley, where everything they do is to make the world a better place. It's a nice cover story. But what she's really saying, this is political activism.
Right.
Journalism and political activism are synonymous. It's like trying to separate the wet from water. They're one and the same.
You will not learn that here. That will not be uttered in any of our journalism classes. The point is not to raise voices. The point is not that journalism is some form of activism. It's finding the story, presenting the facts accurately, and doing it in a way that gives readers or listeners the whole story. And I was just talking. We have these events on campus where people come from all over the place, and the number one question I get asked, actually, number one is probably about fake news. What do you think about fake news?
Right.
What is it? Is it a problem? But two is always about media bias, right? The mainstream media biased, and the bias certainly is inherent in what's discussed and what's presented, but it is so much more so in what's not presented, what's not included in the story, and then the story choices, which ones you choose to cover, which ones are not covered. That kind of, I don't want to say hidden bias, but what's left out or what's not covered is, I think, a bigger problem almost than what is presented up front. But you can read, you can decide for yourself. But when those other stories, those other facts aren't presented, then it becomes a problem, a much bigger problem.
Story selection.
Story selection is huge.
It's a huge source of it. And the point is to say, because I love this, people, when we talk about the media, I always get, hey, you're a member of the media. You got a radio show, and you got newspapers and stuff. You're a member of the media, so stop whining. I'm not whining about it. I'm describing the reality of the ground, number one. Number two, calling me a member of the media. Okay, fine. I'm a member of the media, different than other members of the media. One, because I represent a group that represents about 10% of the media at the most. Number two is because I'm transparent about my worldviews, whereas the 90% of the D.C. press corps, the Chicago press corps, Illinois political press corps, they pretend they're objective scriveners of the passing scene. I have no views. I'm not an activist. I have no preconceived opinions about any particular party or candidate or policy issue. I am just an empty vessel here to convey the who, what, where, when, and why. It's the biggest load of bull jive out there. And it's and they know it, so they cover their propaganda and their activism with this idea that, there's Fox News out there, there's conservative talk radio out there, so it's all equal. Well, I always just go back to asking this question. It's a real simple question, and very few people on the left will answer it because they're not honest. 82 to 95% of the DC press corps, the Gang of 500, as Mark Halpern used to call it, according to Gallup polling going back 60 years, right? It's a 64 presidential election, almost 60 years, voted for the Democrat candidate for president. Right, so 80 is round numbers. 80 to 90% of the Gang of 500, the D.C. press group. Do you think over the last half a century, if you had 80 to 90% of the D.C. press corps voting for the Republican candidate for president every presidential election cycle, that the stories would be different, that the coverage would be different, or it doesn't matter, right?
Of course it matters.
Of course it does. But you just can't get any forthrightness from those that who have the prevailing viewpoint and who impose their orthodoxy of that viewpoint as best they can.
And to your point, I'm a neutral arbiter. I'm only even at the state level, right? I'm a neutral arbiter. I'm just telling you the facts. But I'm going to describe Congressman Dan Lipinski, a guy who has a 15 rating from the ACU, a guy that's got a 90 rating from the AFL-CIO, a guy who votes with Trump 32% of the time, as a conservative Democrat. In every single story I write, I'm going to call him a conservative Democrat when he is nothing of the sort. He's pro-life, which is why he had a giant target on his back. But he's not a conservative.
I'm sorry, anti-abortion.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, I'm also using the wrong language in addition. But
although those statistics with the 21st Century Democrat Party, that does make him a conservative Democrat. That's the ironic commentary.
Right.
The irony's lost on them.
I mean, on the Democratic sort of line, perhaps, but in the grand scheme, when someone hears you're a conservative, they're not thinking that you're a guy that's on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being conservative and 1 being liberal, you're a 3, which makes you more conservative than, say, Jan Schakowsky.
Right,
but
there are no Scoop Jackson Democrats anymore. Exactly. No, that's a great point. Here's another one, just rounding out what journalism is and isn't, and how this is covered. So Michael Wolff,
yes.
Fire and Fury, he was speaking to the student paper at his alma mater, Vassar. Brother. I wonder if he and when Tiny Dancer was at Sarah Lawrence, if they ever went to like a turnabout or an ice cream social. He defended his work, this Fire and Fury book. Listen to Michael Wolff. Was rather celebrated
absolutely.
journalist prior to Fire and Fury. And I mean, in some quarters still is, I suppose. I'm an observer. I investigate nothing. All I do is look and write what I see and what I hear. And my job, which has nothing to do with the truth, is to take what I see and what I hear and write that in a way that our readers can come as close as possible, as close as I came to the experience of doing this. I want to be able to turn what I see into something that the reader says, oh, I see that too. Well, I'll let that wash over you and you react to that. Nothing to do with the truth, Michael Wolff's book describing what's really happening in the White House. Right?
It's like he's, the brand of book, the historical fiction.
Yes.
Right? He's not even going that far. It's not even not present day. It's present day fiction that has a tenuous relation to perhaps reality. The stories, it's the opposite of what Dragnet, right? These stories are made up, but the names remain the same.
It really is. But it's a remarkable statement. It's a remarkable statement. So it would be like saying that Forrest Whitaker was actually Idi Amin. That The Last King of Scotland was biopic. The truth has nothing to do with it. I'm here to write what I see and what I hear, to investigate nothing, to not concern myself with the facts, and then to convey that experience. Because, as Michael Wolff famously said, if it sounds true, it probably is. And hey, that's close enough. Boy, that different philosophy with respect to journalism at Vassar.
Yeah.
Than Hillsdale.
Michael Wolff can swing by one of my classes. I mean, we can try to
Wouldn't that
rehabilitate
be fun?
him.
Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be like throwing minnows into the piranha tank, putting Michael Wolff at Hillsdale College. Scott Bertram, Dan Proft, coming to you live from the aforesaid Hillsdale College.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
There's a lot going on with your mouth. It's how you communicate through speech and your smile. It's where you put food to fuel your body. It's how you show affection to your loved ones. The health of your mouth and teeth are so important, and Dentistry for All Ages in Elk Grove Village can help keep your mouth and teeth in excellent condition. When is the last time you had a dental checkup? It's suggested every 6 months. Dr. Leischner and Dr. Fernelli at Dentistry for All Ages focus on comprehensive consultations and most dental services, but start with an oral cancer screening using Velscope. It sounds technical, but it's a really simple process. And right now, you can get a free oral cancer screening with your dental cleaning and exam. Dentistry for All Ages is in Elk Grove Village, Suite 660, in the Eberly Building in Alexian Brothers Hospital, with a convenient indoor parking garage located on the first 4 floors. Call 847-439-2445 for an appointment, or go to dentistryforallage.com. Dentistryforallage.com.
If you still haven't purchased the very best pillow, of course I'm talking about MyPillow, the 4-pack deal is back. So I strongly urge you to go online or call now to make sure you take advantage of this great deal. A great night's sleep is so important, so give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep by ordering a MyPillow. By using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. The MyPillow 4-pack deal includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows at 50% off. I love that I can move the fill to get the support I need, regardless if I sleep on my back or side. I never wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And MyPillow is made in America, washable and dryable, hypoallergenic, and has a 10-year warranty plus a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
It's tax season. Are you prepared? Do you need help? It's time to call your trusted tax advisor, Timothy C. Wolf, who's a CPA with over 35 years' experience in tax planning and preparation. Tim is knowledgeable about the current as well as the new 2018 tax legislation. Tim will complete your return while you wait, where possible, or in as little as 48 hours. And he'll have your tax return electronically filed with any refund being directly deposited to your account. As a Food for the Poor business benefactor, Tim challenges new and existing clients to contribute to Food for the Poor, with any new client contributions matched up to $50. Call 847-818-0400 to schedule an appointment. All new clients will receive a 20% discount off their 2017 tax preparation fees, as well as a free review of your past 3 tax returns. 1 in 3 reviews have resulted in refunds up to $50,000. Now is the time to call or text Tim at 847-818-0400 to schedule your appointment, or go to timwolfcpa.com to find out more.
Dan Proft here, and you're invited to join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum on April 19th. This year, the forum features former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich and former Governor of Vermont Howard Dean. The topic of this year's forum, a bipartisan conversation about leadership in divided times. The World Leaders Forum features 2 events, a community event held at Judson University in Elgin at 2 p.m. on April 19th, to hear from both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean before a Q&A session. Then at 5 p.m. that evening, the World Leaders Forum continues at the Hilton Chicago Hotel at a signature VIP reception featuring a photo opportunity with both Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. A portion of the ticket is tax deductible, with proceeds funding the Judson Leadership Scholarships, innovative entrepreneurial activities, and sustaining the World Leaders Forum. I'm excited to be moderating this year's event, so join me at the Judson University World Leaders Forum with Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Get your tickets today at judsonu.edu/WLF. That's judsonu.edu/WLF.
Mike Gallagher sees a president annoyed with the Russia investigation.
The president is clearly frustrated. The president is clearly disappointed. the president is clearly antsy to get this thing over with. If you've got proof of some kind of collusion, establish it already. Do it. All this other stuff is a distraction.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
AM 560 News Time 5:57. From the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thank you, David. Metro train of Union Pacific North Line number 300 remains stopped at Central Street due to police activity. Eden's Expressway is still looking good right now. It's 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, just a little congested out of the River Road toll. Otherwise, good. About Eisenhower delays are from Mannheim to Austin and Sacramento to the Burn Circle. 38 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 29. Bound Stevenson delays start at Harlem. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Mount Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Issue 4, 25 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Other major roads look good for now. Traffic service, Firestone Complete Auto Care. Head into Firestone Complete Auto Care through April 2nd. Get $60 on a Visa prepaid card by mail when you purchase a set of 4 eligible Firestone tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Restrictions and exclusions apply. Visit driveafirestone.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
And now the forecast with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, partly sunny, high 57. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a little late-night rain, low 42. Rather cloudy and cooler with a little rain into the early afternoon tomorrow, high 48 and a low 32. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
39 degrees at the lakefront, 42 Midway, 41 degrees at O'Hare. AM 560 News Time, 5:59. In the news, Chicago's top cop Eddie Johnson's rejecting a recommendation by the city's police oversight board to fire the officer who shot and killed Quintonio LeGrier and Betty Jones in 2015. COPA had recommended firing Officer Robert Rialmo, but Johnson said the shooting is justified. The two sides now will work on a compromise. Chicago City Council takes up a couple of gun bills today, including a specific ban on bump stocks and a ban on body armor for civilians. Illinois House lawmakers gather testimony for a possible override of Governor Rauner's veto of the gun dealer licensing bill. Supporters like Millie Burgos of Chicago, who lost her 18-year-old daughter to gun violence, urged lawmakers not to give up.
I will continue to be her voice, and this is why I'm here, and this is why I go to Springfield, and this is why I go to Washington, D.C.
But the NRA says the law would duplicate federal law and unfairly burden small businesses. The University of Illinois wants someone to oversee its $60 million in diversity spending. The school in Urbana this week earlier said it's looking to hire a diversity director. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's, you can save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. We'll have more of Chicago's Morning Answer coming up, but first a look at national headlines from Fox News. WIND Chicago, it's 6 o'clock.
Kim Jong-un says, let's talk. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The North Korean dictator taking a trip to China with a message for President Trump. More live from Fox's Simon Owen in London.
Chris, there'd been days of rumors after an armored train was spotted rolling into Beijing. And now China and North Korea both confirming Kim Jong-un was on board, making what's believed to be his first trip outside of North Korea since coming to power 6 years ago. China saying Kim reiterated his pledge to the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. And, according to China, Kim said North Korea is willing to talk with the United States and hold a summit between the countries. Chris?
Yes, Simon, President Trump is tweeting about the North Korean news, saying now there is a good chance that Kim Jong-un will do what's right for his people and for humanity. Looking forward to our meeting. The president also tweeting this morning, the Second Amendment will never be repealed. That's in response to former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens writing in an essay for the New York Times yesterday, it should be repealed as an 18th century relic. A porn star's lawyer wants to force the president to answer questions about the money she got to not talk about him. Fox's John Decker's at the White House.
The attorney for Stormy Daniels has asked a federal judge for permission to depose the president about his knowledge of an agreement to pay Daniels $130,000 just a week and a half before the 2016 election. The president's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, has said he made the payment to Daniels with his own funds and without the president's knowledge. The president's deposition under oath could potentially play a role in determining whether campaign finance laws were broken by the president, Cohen, or the Trump campaign. Chris?
John Decker at the White House, thanks. It's deleted now, but a Planned Parenthood branch in Pennsylvania tweeted, "We need a Disney princess who's had an abortion." A spokeswoman says, upon reflection, we decided the seriousness of the point we were trying to make was not appropriate. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
A list of things that will let you down today. Your alarm clock, C-store coffee, public transportation, the office elevator, the sandwich you packed for lunch, the fifth floor printer, your cell phone battery, the shoelace you swore you double knotted, your hard drive, your backup hard drive, and of course, the weather. Brighten your day with something you can actually count on. GoToMeeting is the easy-to-use collaborative meeting tool that 18 million monthly users trust to help them get work done. To learn more about how you can meet better, visit GoToMeeting.com.
Hi, I'm Darla from Cintas.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. We have so much to do. I need fire extinguishers, right?
We'll place them for you and be out for regular inspection.
Great. And what about my new hires?
We'll get them into uniforms and keep them looking sharp.
What about this first aid cabinet?
Fully stocked.
It wasn't this morning.
It is now. And so are the restrooms.
Wow, Cintas really seems to know what we need.
You said it.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money because it isn't customized to you. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you with a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. For a limited time, get $50 off your mattress order when you go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
Jimmy John's Freaky Fast, Freaky Fresh.
I'm calling because I saw one of your delivery persons today, and he was totally naked.
Ma'am, I sincerely want to apologize for any...
Buck naked right there on the street.
Ma'am, we're doing all we can to...
And I say it's about darn time.
I know, and I'm gonna... Wait, what?
The human body is a beautiful thing, don't you agree?
Well,
We've suffered the tyranny of clothing for way too long.
Okay, but...
So thanks, Jimmy John's, for going all natural.
Actually, ma'am, it's our meats that are all natural.
Say what now?
Our meats are all natural. Wood smoked ham, choice roast beef, real fresh turkey breast, all natural and freaky fresh.
So I don't suppose I can expect all natural delivery in the future.
No.
Darn.
One of the least glamorous pieces of the puzzle in a construction or home improvement project is getting rid of the waste. It's definitely the last thing contractors or homeowners want to deal with, but it's a necessity. Getting affordable dumpster service quickly to a construction site can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. For hassle-free dumpster service, contact Midwest Companies. They're focused on dumpster services that will help keep your project safe, clean, and on schedule. Midwest Companies takes care of contractors in need of a dumpster that's strong enough for heavy material and the homeowner doing a home improvement project, garage, basement, foreclosure, or estate clean-out. For a company that's built a great reputation with local contractors and residents by providing fast, efficient dumpster service at a competitive price, consult with Midwest Companies for a no hidden fee quote. For new customers and a limited time, get $50 off your first service. Midwest Companies. Online at mwcompanies.com. mwcompanies.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. The main thing we learned from the 3,000-plus school walkouts that occurred and those already being planned for April 20 is who's in charge of K-12 education in America. And that should frighten you more than your average 18-year-old with a rifle or a violent video game. Those pillaging America's schools like Malcolm McDowell and his droogs in A Clockwork Orange are in charge of our schools, not attending them. It's zero tolerance on the one hand and tolerance of everything, including thuggery, on the other. If you're a white kid who scrawls the square root sign evoking a gun on a math assignment. Then bring in Jack Bauer and put him on the clock. If you're a minority kid, say in Parkland, Florida, you can threaten to shoot up your school and no one will say anything. Under the guise of racial equity, schools are moving to remove disciplinary consequences for certain students and take discretion away from law enforcement in the process. Neither are teachers immune from the imposition of leftist orthodoxy. Just ask the California teacher put on administrative leave for hazarding a thoughtful discussion with her class about the politics of protests ahead of the walkout. With the politics being pushed on their kids, now is a good time for more parents to wake up and walk into their kids' schools for a healthy stop, look, and listen.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Scott Bertram. He is the general manager of WRFH in Hillsdale, Michigan. That's Radio Free Hillsdale at Hillsdale College, where we're broadcasting live this morning. Part of my 2-day excursion to improve my IQ, and it's working. The question, Scott, is should, per former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens' op-ed in the New York Times, should the Second Amendment rights of all Americans be repealed or just those of Al Sharpton's half-brother? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I'll tell you what should happen is we should be hearing questions and answers from virtually every Democrat running for office if they agree with John Paul Stevens that the Second Amendment should be repealed. And as John Paul Stevens put it in his piece, right near the end, where is this? He said it's a simple, I can't find it.
Simple but dramatic
there you
action.
Go. Simple action of a constitutional amendment to repeal the Second Amendment.
That would move Saturday's marchers closer to their objective than any other possible reform, because that's what our constitutional rights are all about. Whether or not a bunch of kids and Hollywood actors can get their way. That's the only thing standing in the way of our individual right to self-protection as memorialized in the Heller and McDonald decisions, according to former Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens, who, of course, was wrote the dissent in the Heller case and is a Northwestern law grad. I have to get that in.
Is this what comes under the headline or the heading common sense bipartisan solutions?
Well, I tell you what, here's the nice thing about this op-ed, and I think why some on the left are upset about it is because it strips bare their actual viewpoint, the actual agenda. Thank you, Justice Stevens. Actually, we really owe him a debt of gratitude for presenting what the actual objective is, what the actual belief system is, that this was not a march for our lives or a march for common sense gun control. Those are euphemistic phrases to conceal the true motive, which is to strip people of their rights.
And this is Charles C.W. Cook wrote something 2 years ago that made the rounds yesterday because it's just a generic response to these calls for a Second Amendment repeal, and it's called Rant Second Amendment. Where's the headline? It's an open rant aimed at those who would repeal the Second Amendment from August of 2015, which apparently was another opportunity when the left was calling for a Second Amendment repeal. And he basically lays out